Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the second week of September, and we're looking at September 8th through the 14th. And remember, what I'm doing here is I'm funneling everything through the moon. As the moon moves through the signs in the heavens, I'm making it relative to all the other planets, because the moon is the public. It's sort of like the heartbeat of society and the world and what's going on. And the lunations, the cycles of the moon, the phases of the moon, so very, very important in astrology. And remember, I'm talking from Central Daylight Time Zone. So when I represent these times during the day, adjust it to your time wherever you are around the world. And wherever you are around the world, let me know in the comment section down below. Tell me where you're from. I find that so interesting and so amazing how we're all unified and come together in this world. Now, if you want to know how this affects you personally, this is more on a global level. But personally, you're going to want my galactic planner. My galactic planner, and we have all sorts of amazing new updates with it. Check it out. With the planner, we do go over these eclipses in your chart to tell you how that's going to affect you personally. But the planner takes your individual birth chart and calculates all of these aspects daily. And it is sent into your calendar on your phone or computer. Be guided by the stars. Make better decisions. So it's galacticplanner.com. And remember, go to my website, galacticcenter.org, and sign up for my free newsletter where you can get all of my predictions delivered to your email every week. And once you've done that, notice my Patreon. This is where I meet with my spiritual, like-minded community every week live. You can find that on galacticcenter.org. And if you want to study with me, become my student, you can do so at any time. Join my university. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Now, let me talk about September 8th. This is going to be where the moon has gone into the sign of Pisces. And while it's here in Pisces, it is exactly going to be conjunct Saturn around 12:30 p.m. in the afternoon, Central Daylight Time. This is heavy. Moon-Saturn can be a tad bit depressing. Now, Neptune's there too with Saturn, and this makes us feel confused. You know, it's very interesting how confusing this transit of Saturn and Neptune together have made the world. One minute we make up our mind, then the next minute we change it. It's very, very interesting how this whole cycle of this Saturn-Neptune have been together for so long, causing mass confusion and bringing out all sorts of secrets, corruption, scandals. This has all been happening. And the moon here can shed light on it even more, all these things that have been happening. Now, the moon also sits in the nakshatra today called Uttara Bhadrapada. This is a difficult nakshatra in terms of it takes us to the deepest depths of what's going on in the world. It's ruled by the serpent of the deep. And its also symbol is the back end of the funeral cot, which can deal a lot with death. So this is a difficult time today. And looking at this, the sun is still getting closer and closer to Ketu, representing a loss around world leadership. And Jupiter, though, is in the 4th house from the moon between now and the next few days. And this is a great time for you to venture out, look for real estate, or put some changes in your home, maybe decorate or renovate. But something about property and home and real estate is very good today. Another thing is Venus is in the 5th house from the moon, representing a very creative time. This is the time you can express yourself more creatively, design colors you're more sensitive to, even getting closer to children if you have children. And all at the same time, this Sun-Ketu Mercury, they do sit in the 6th house from the moon. So please make this a day that you pick up your health habits, change the things that are not good, and try to get healthier during this time, because this is a time that we need to be looking after our health, strengthening our immune system, strengthening our body in every which way, because there could be something out there that's trying to weaken it, make us sick in some way. So Mars sits opposed the moon for the next few days, starting today. And that can cause a little contention, fighting, difficulty within partnerships. So you might feel attacked by your partner. Just know that this is brief and this too will pass. Now I'm looking at Tuesday, September 9th, and with this day, I'm looking at the moon being in Pisces still. It has moved up in degree past the Saturn-Neptune, so that's much better. And it is in the nakshatra called Revati. Revati is the last and final nakshatra, in the last and final sign of the zodiac, Pisces. But it deals with more positive things, such as traveling. This might be a good day for travels. And with Jupiter being 4th from the moon, it's a good day to look for real estate or create changes within the home. You feel a lot more creative today with Venus in the sign of Cancer, in the 5th house based from the moon. So this is a time of creative talent, coming out and expressing yourself more, opening your heart. But still we have the Sun-Ketu Mercury in the 8th house from the moon, and the sun is almost exactly conjunct Ketu. There are losses going on around the world concerning leadership and rulership in kings and presidents. So be aware. Yes, Mars is opposed the moon. This is a time that you may find people are not agreeable, combative, argumentative. Just, stay away and don't add fuel to the fire when it comes to arguments, especially in your personal relationships. Now I'm looking at September 10th, and this is when the moon will move into Aries. And it will be in the nakshatra Ashwini. And this is all powerful because Ashwini is ruled by Ketu, so it reflects back to the fact that on this day, Wednesday, September 10th, the Sun and Ketu are exactly conjunct. Ketu is loss. Ketu is this, deals with something that's not whole or complete or missing, a draining effect. And it is on the sun, which can actually mean our life force feels drained out today. But the sun, as I keep alluding to, represents leadership around the world. There's something wrong. There's something missing. There's something of a loss concerning world leadership or even a particular leader in a certain country. So be aware. This is intense. And as I keep saying, it is in Leo. Leo rules leadership and politics. And so does Aquarius, where Rahu is. There's major changes, upsets occurring in the world today. Another thing is, with the moon being in Aries, it puts Jupiter in the third. And actually, even though these world affairs are happening, it's a good day for travel, because the third house, Jupiter's in Gemini, and the third house from the moon, representing travel. And this is going to be in effect for the next few days. And actually, I like the moon being in Ashwini for travel. It deals with travel, okay? And Ashwini is can deal with very deep stuff as well. And it means most people will be in a big hurry today while the moon is in Aries, rushing forth to get things done, probably being totally impatient and impulsive. So watch that. Don't you succumb to that. But watch how other people around you may succumb to that. Now, Venus is in the fourth house from the moon. It's a great day to be looking for real estate, shopping around, or decorating your home, creating different beautiful things in your home, maybe painting it different colors or rearranging furniture, things of that nature. And at least the Sun, Moon, Mercury are in the fifth house today, which means some deep understanding that's occurring in the world right now based on the changes that cannot be denied. So now I am looking at September 11th, and on this day, it's a Thursday, we have the moon still in Aries, but it is now shifted into the nakshatra Bharani. Bharani is the nakshatra that deals with breakthroughs, new birthing of things, but it's not easy. Birthing of things can be painful, but at least something is coming through that will change where we are for the better. And the sun has crossed over and is now moving away from Ketu, so things can start to improve, except for Mercury. Mercury is now today conjunct Ketu, and this represents the way we think, the way we communicate. It's kind of, we feel a sense of loss for words today, if I could say that. We don't know how to put things out there and to understand things better. But this is all together in Leo, which represents a loss of words for rulers, for leaders around the world, what is going on. And I know that Jupiter is still in the third house in Gemini, so it can be a good day for travel. Venus is in the fourth, great day for decorating. But Mars is in Virgo still, and it is in the sixth house from the moon. So this is a time to continue on with changing bad habits and getting healthier. Now I'm looking at September 12th. This is a Friday. And the moon has now entered into the sign of Taurus. And it is in the nakshatra called Kritika. Kritika is a sharp nakshatra that deals with getting to the point, being direct. And people will be a lot more direct. Watch today. But the moon, sometime during this day, will cross over Uranus, which makes this day very unpredictable. You cannot predict the way the tides are going to change. Things will be up and down and crazy. And Kritika is so direct and sharp, a cutting nakshatra. Be careful how you use your words. But Jupiter does sit in the second house from the moon. And this will represent changes in a positive direction with the economy and finances. Yes, it's going to vastly improve. Venus is in the third house from the moon, and this can mean a positive day for traveling. And this will be in effect for the next few days. And with Mars being in the 5th house from the moon, people can be a bit obsessive and compulsive with their thoughts, their ideas, but very creative and inventive as well. This is the last day, pretty much, that Mars will be in Virgo. And Virgo has hyped up or brought out issues around health and disease, which hopefully is now creating healthier people in many ways. So now I am looking at Saturday, September 13th, and on this day you will find that Mercury will cross over exactly on the 13th. It's going to conjunct the Sun. So Mercury and the Sun will basically be what we call Cassimi, which means Mercury and the Sun become one. And this Cassimi with Mercury conjunct the Sun is where Mercury is on the other side of the Sun from Earth. This is a superior conjunction. And that means Mercury is not retrograde and it's moving tip-top speed. Otherwise, the inferior conjunction is always when we have Mercury retrograde. Now it's on the other side, moving quickly. So ideas and thoughts, everything to do with Mercury, is moving faster at this time. So our thoughts, our ideas, moving forward with new things is occurring. And the Sun, Ketu, Mercury are in the 4th house, counting from the moon. And this represents changes within your homestead, where you live. You might be wanting to change things, but all at the same time. The moon sits in the sign of Taurus today, and that's its sign of exaltation. In other words, the moon loves the sign of Taurus. And additionally, it is in the moon's favorite nakshatra to be, which is Rohini. Rohini is the moon's best nakshatra, so it deals with wealth and it deals with good feelings about the world. So this should be a pretty good day, especially with the economy. I'll give it that, because Jupiter sits in the 2nd house from the moon, and it is in a good nakshatra as well, Purnavasu. Things will start moving forward with economic issues around the world, whether it deals with the stock market, the economy, or your own personal finances. This is a good day for checks and balances to be more prosperous and more successful and creative, with Venus being in the 3rd house from the moon. And Mars has changed signs today, thank goodness. It is now in Libra. I don't like Mars in Virgo. It was opposing that Saturn-Neptune, causing all those health issues. Now things are much better in the area of health and disease. Things will feel better, get better. It is a better time moving forward. For the time being, that is. But Rohini, it's like a great day to express yourself love-wise, creatively, and even buying things. It's a good day to go shopping with the moon in Rohini. Mars is in the 6th house from the moon, so things are starting to clean up in the area of health and hygiene around the world. So now we're coming to the last day I'm going to be looking at in the 2nd week, and that is September 14th. And with this, the moon enters Gemini today. And as it's in Gemini, it will be in the nakshatra Mrigashira. And that is the nakshatra of searching and seeking, looking and finding things, finding answers, as well as finding missing pieces to your collections or anything that you want to go on a fun search for, even shopping. The moon, while it is here in Gemini, is starting to approach Jupiter. And this is always a good thing, I think, when you bring moon together with Jupiter. Because then this means optimism prevails. People are more optimistic and feel better. Venus is even in the second house from the moon. So this reflects a good time personally for most people. Financially, they have a good outlook or feeling good about their finances. Even though Venus, this is the last day Venus is going to be in Cancer. So it deals with nurturing and reflecting, but I cannot help but notice Venus is Gandanta. What is Gandanta? When a planet is in the last degrees of a water sign or the very first degrees of a fire sign. So today and tomorrow, but I find when it's in water, it deals more with the sense of drowning, losing control. So this can represent some type of serious floods going on around the world. Be aware. And I can't help but notice it is hurricane season. So be aware that this is like where people are going to be completely out of control, and especially the next few days. So be aware that this can be serious stuff. And the Sun, Ketu, and Mercury are in the third house. Communications will be going haywire. People are not connecting well. So with that, I think I'll leave it at the last day of the second week of September. So don't forget to tune in for my third week of September coming up. And don't forget, if you want to learn more about me, always go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Thank you.